How will the 2017 Titans defensive unit look, and what should we expect from them? Stay tuned, and we're going to talk about it right here on Titan Town. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Titans Town. Today's video topic is brought to you by Logan. Thanks, Logan, for the topic, and I appreciate the submission. Today we're going to be talking about the Titans defense overall, how this team should look, and what we should expect from these guys. So let's get started with this topic, and we'll start off with the guys up front, the defensive line. Of course, it's led by Jurrell Casey, who's a beast. And the thing with Casey is last season, it's kind of like the numbers lie with him. He only had 3 sacks, but he was constantly disruptive. If you listen to defensive coordinators, any of them will tell you, I would rather a guy be constantly disrupting the pocket instead of maybe getting 2 sacks a game and not putting any constant pressure on them. Jurrell Casey was a constant pressure for quarterbacks. He also was a big help in the run game. He's really good at run support. Been to the past 2 Pro Bowls. Really good guy, great guy to have on our defense. He's highly underrated in the league as a whole. He's one of the best, probably top 5, maybe even top 3. Some people might even have him at number 1 defensive lineman wise. So Jurrell Casey is one who leads this unit, but we also have some other pieces on the defensive line. We have Sylvester Williams that we brought in through free agency. He's going to be playing nose tackle. We also have Daquan Jones, who starts opposite Jurrell Casey. Daquan is a really good in run support. Hopefully we'll get to see some more pass rush ability out of him this season. He's playing in a contract year, so maybe he'll really step his game up. If he does, that would really be nice for us. Coming in after that, we have Carl Klug. I really like Carl Klug, and I even know some Titans fans who their favorite Titan player is Carl Klug. Carl Klug reminds me of a lumberjack. I've said this before. Big, strong guy. He has a really high motor, great rotational player. Thing with him is he's really good at pass rushing as well. Like I said, he's got a high motor. He's constantly coming. There is just no quit with him. We also have Angelo Blackson, really good at penetration. If you remember last season in the season opener against the Vikings, one play that really stood out to me from him, he penetrated the line right there in the middle, and he tackled Adrian Peterson for about a 1, maybe 2-yard loss, and it was just a big crowd of people. He was able to squeeze through, get that penetration, and make the tackle. Defensive line unit is definitely one of the strengths of our defense. Just like on the offensive side, it is the offensive line that is very stout. Defensive side, their line is stout as well. Moving on, at the edge rusher position, we have Brian Orakpo and Derek Morgan as the starters. Very solid veterans, a little bit underrated as well. Brian Orakpo made the Pro Bowl for us this past season. Jurrell Casey is a big part of that. They both play on the same side. And I believe that is a lot of the reason that Brian Orakpo had such good stats, because defenses were more worried about Jurrell Casey. They was double teaming him. They was game planning for him. But Brian Orakpo was also coming from that side, so that really boosted and elevated his game. Not to take nothing away from Brian Orakpo, of course. A really good player as well. Derek Morgan on the other side, he plays the left side. He had a good season for us too. He really started to come on along towards the end of the season. By the time he started really padding his numbers and getting his numbers up, the Pro Bowl time voting was already done with. But there was a good possibility that he could have made the Pro Bowl as well if he was playing that way the whole season, if he was getting those numbers throughout the whole season. At inside linebacker, we're actually kind of stacked this season. We have Wesley Woodyard returning. He had a great year for us last year. He made some really good plays for us. We also have Avery Williamson. He's playing in a contract year. The thing with Williamson is he's a really good run stuffer. You're not going to get by him if you try to run through him. That ain't going to work. If he gets his hands on you, you're going down for sure. The thing with him, though, is he got burned in coverage for us last year quite often. Jack Doyle, man, I still have burning memories in my mind about that. Hopefully he steps his game up. He's definitely stepping up his leadership role. reports coming out of minicamp and OTAs is that Avery Williamson, he's really starting to be the captain of the defense. He's really starting to come into his own in that regard. He's helping the younger guys get lined up. He's helping mentor guys on learning the playbook. He's starting to learn what everybody around him on the defensive side of the ball is doing and what their job is doing. And he kind of tries to correct them. He says he doesn't want to yell at players. He don't want to break their confidence in yelling at them, but he will talk to them and say, hey, you're doing this when you should be doing this, or you maybe need to work on this a little bit. So I really respect Avery for that. He's really starting to step up in that regard. Nate Palmer, who we signed from the Green Bay Packers last season, or it might have been the season before, I can't remember right off the top of my head. Reports from OTAs is that he's really stepped his game up. He's playing faster, looks more athletic. That's what he was known for coming out of college, being an athletic inside linebacker. So that's really good for him. He's really athletic. He's making some plays in practice. Hopefully that can translate over to game days. Jayon Brown, we drafted in the 5th round. Reports from rookie minicamp and OTAs have been that he is very athletic. He's more athletic than what the film shows. He's been good in coverage, and that's something that we really need because we really got burned by tight ends last year. So hopefully he can come in and make an impact in that part of the game. He can take away the tight end position from some of these quarterbacks around the league. We also signed Darren Bates. He's mostly going to be here for special teams. I really don't think he should make the team if he's only going to be here for special teams, but the Titans have put an emphasis on special teams, so he probably will. I don't see him getting on the field very often on the actual defensive side. Maybe he can come in and step his game up and do that, but we'll just have to wait and see for that. In the secondary, we have several new pieces. We have Logan Ryan. We have Jonathan Cyprien, and we have excuse me. We have a player out of USC we drafted, Dory Jackson. Dory being a rookie. We also have Kevin Byard and LaShawn Sims returning this year. Hopefully Logan Ryan can come in and really step his game up. He mostly played number 2 in New England, but we're going to look for him to be our number 1 this year. Depending on the defensive packages, he'll either play inside or out. That's the thing about him. He's versatile to play both sides. LaShawn Sims, a lot of people are kind of overlooking him or forgetting about him. He had a very solid year once Parrish Cox was cut and he was able to step in. Very solid year. He was a big reason why we won that Kansas City game. Without him intercepting that pass in the end zone, we would have lost that game. If they would have kicked a field goal, even if they would have kicked a field goal there, we would have lost. So that interception was very key on us winning that game. I figure he'll be here to cover the number 2 receiver. And then depending on the package and where the number 1 receiver lines up and a few other factors, Logan Ryan or Dory Jackson will be lining up either in the slot or nickel or on the outside. The thing with Dory Jackson is, and some of you might hate me for saying this, I did scout him a little bit coming out of college, and I did say, and I really, really hope that I'm wrong. I really, really do. His game is very, very raw, and I hope he can adjust to the NFL speed and level and clean his technique up. Very athletic guy. He's definitely going to make an impact on special teams, but I said that I hope he does not turn out to be the Cordero Patterson of the defensive side of the ball. I hope he doesn't. I hope he comes in and he can contribute on defense, and hopefully he'll turn out to be like an Antonio Brown of the defensive side, key special teams player as well as key offensive player or defensive player in Dory Jackson's case. But I did say, and I hope that I'm wrong, I really, really do, guys. I did say that I kind of compared him to Cordero Patterson, not being able to contribute on the offensive side of the ball, but being a star on special teams. So hopefully I'm wrong about that. Kevin Byard, really good. He made an impact last year. He's talked about stepping his game up. He set a goal to make the Pro Bowl this year. So hopefully he can step his game up and do that. He was solid in coverage for us this past season. The franchise is really trying to make this guy face the franchise. They're really talking him up and things like that. Jonathan Cyprien, he's going to come in and kind of play the Damon Stafford role. He'll probably have a little bit bigger role than what Stafford had, but he's going to be mostly a box safety. He's going to come down and play the run. He's going to go after the quarterback every once in a while. Just all depends on, like I said, the defensive package, the play that's called, and that kind of thing, what the offense is doing, because a lot of times the defense has to react to whatever the offense is doing. So that's what I see for this unit overall. Hopefully, we'll have a better unit than what we had last year. Really, our defensive secondary was the Achilles heel of our team last year. Hopefully, they can step up and play better. I'm hoping turnover-wise, as a team, we can have 10, maybe 11 interceptions to get turnovers, maybe 4 or 5 fumble recoveries. We really need to work on our turnovers. We was at the bottom of the league in that. Sack-wise, we was right around the top of the league. We had 40, I believe. Maybe it was a little more than 40, but hopefully we'll push them numbers up and have a little more than that too. At the edge rusher position, I forgot to mention this. We definitely need some depth there. They're expecting Kevin Byard to come back when practice starts back and be healthy and be ready to go. We haven't seen him do that yet. He had an okay game against Detroit. Hopefully he'll be able to get healthy and come back and play good for us. We also drafted Josh Caraway. Uh, I was so shocked when we got him in the 7th round. He was another player that I scouted. I figured he'd go somewhere between end of the 4th to early 5th. I was shocked when we got him in the 7th round. I do expect him to play a very limited rotation role. He has a lot of potential and a lot of upside. He's going to need to add some strength for the NFL for sure, but hopefully he can translate his game over and he'll be better for us than what we think. I know most of you think he'll end up on the practice squad, but I think he'll get to play on a very limited role. Aaron Wallace, he'll get to play some. He can play inside or outside, so that versatility really helps him in his game. And he made a few decent plays for us last season as well. But anyways, guys, that's how our defense should look this coming up season. Hopefully it'll be better than last season. The goal is to get better and better every year. I expect next year's draft to be very defensive heavy because this year was very offensive heavy. So hopefully that will be the case, and hopefully everybody performs well and we make the playoffs and make a good playoff run. Remember, guys, to stay tightened up. If you have anything you want me to talk about, drop it in the description box below. I'll get you featured and shouted out in a video just like I did Logan here. And be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like the content. That's very important in growing the channel. I also run a blog, and I'll have some of that listed in the description box below. On the weekends is when I'll get most of my video content out because time is limited here. Mostly through the week, I'll be running my blog. So be sure to check that out too. And remember to always stay tightened up, guys.